Mendelian Inheritance in Man. Part 2. UGC Net Anthropology. Welcome to AnthroNet Academy, a study aligned with the UGC Net Anthropology syllabus. Description box. Please visit the description box for books references. Dear learners, if you find this content helpful, please consider subscribing to AnthroNet Academy. Your support really means a lot and keeps me motivated to create more valuable content for you. Big surprise at 500 subs. Once AnthroNet Academy hits 500 subscribers, we're dropping something truly special just for you. A full video revealing 100 powerful, underrated, and must-read books list in anthropology, complete with author names and insights important for UGC Net exam. Mendelian and atypical patterns of inheritance. Mendelian inheritance is based on transmission of single gene on dominant, recessive, or X-linked patterns. Discovering on DNA structure, the genetic code. Genome and the observation that some characters and heredity diseases do not follow classical Mendelian inheritance have led researchers to define other patterns of transmission, referring particularly to multifactorial and mitochondrial inheritance. There will undoubtedly be important advances in our knowledge of the pattern of inheritance of characters and diseases, given a better understanding of gene structure and role, interaction of genes between them and with the environment. Mendelian inheritance. Autosomal dominant inheritance. Autosomal recessive inheritance. Sex-linked inheritance. Autosomal dominant inheritance. Single gene mutation caused by a mutation in one copy of a gene on one of the autosomes, non-sex chromosomes. Dominant trait, only one mutated allele from either parent, is sufficient to express the trait or disorder. Equal sex distribution affects males and females equally, since the gene is on an autosome, non-sex chromosome. Vertical transmission. The condition is often seen in every generation of an affected family. 50% risk for offspring. Each child of an affected parent has a 50% chance of inheriting the mutated gene. Unaffected individuals don't pass it on. If a person does not inherit the mutation, they typically do not pass on the trait. New mutations possible. Sometimes a mutation can arise de novo, new, in the individual without a family history. Variable expressivity. The severity of symptoms can vary even among individuals in the same family. Example of autosomal dominant are achondroplasia, aniridia, Marfan syndrome, Steinert myotomic dystrophy, polydactyly, adenomatosis polyposis of the colon. 2 mutated alleles required. A person must inherit 2 copies of the mutated gene, one from each parent, to express the trait or disorder. Carriers are asymptomatic. Individuals with only 1 mutated allele are carriers and typically do not show symptoms. Equal sex distribution affects males and females equally, since the gene is on an autosome, non-sex chromosome. Horizontal pattern often appears in siblings rather than in every generation, i.e., may skip generations. 25% risk for offspring. When both parents are carriers, each child has a 25% chance of being affected, 50% chance of being a carrier, 25% chance of being unaffected and not a carrier. Increased risk with consanguinity, more common in families with consanguineous marriages, related parents. Unaffected carriers can transmit Two carriers can pass the gene without being aware of it. Example of recessive inheritance are glycogenosis, 6 types; sugar intolerance, galactose, fructose, saccharose, lactose mucopolysaccharidosis, 6 types; most of amino acid disorders, phenylketonuria, sickle cell anemia, tyrosinosis, cystinosis, lysinosis, albivism variants, sex-linked inheritance. The pattern of inheritance that may result from a mutant gene to located on either the X or Y chromosome. Sex-linked inheritance have 3 types: X-linked dominant, X-linked recessive, Y-linked. X-linked dominant inheritance. Mutation on the X chromosome caused by a mutation in a gene located on the X chromosome. One copy is enough. Only one mutated copy of the gene in males or females is sufficient to express the trait. More severe in males. Affected males may have more severe symptoms, and in some cases, the condition may be lethal in males. No male-to-male transmission. Fathers cannot pass the trait to sons, since they pass on their Y chromosome to sons. All daughters of affected males affected. An affected male will pass the mutated X gene to all daughters, so they will all be affected. 50% risk for affected mothers. An affected female has a 50% chance of passing the condition to each child, regardless of sex. Variable expression in females. Due to X inactivation, the severity of symptoms can vary in females. Examples of X-linked dominant disorders. Rett syndrome. Neurodevelopmental disorder mainly affects girls. Males with the mutation usually do not survive infancy. X-linked hypophosphatemic rickets. Causes low phosphate levels, leading to bone deformities and rickets. Not corrected by vitamin D supplementation. Fragile X syndrome. Leading cause of inherited intellectual disability. More severe in males. Females may show mild symptoms. Incontinentia pigmenti. Affects skin, hair, teeth, and eyes. Usually lethal in males. Females show skin blistering and pigmentation changes. Goltz syndrome, focal dermal hypoplasia. Affects skin, skeleton, and eyes. Mostly seen in females. Aicardi syndrome. Rare brain and eye malformation syndrome. Affects only females, typically lethal in males. X-linked recessive inheritance. Gene located on the X chromosome. The mutation is on the X chromosome, one of the sex chromosomes. More common in males. Since males have only one X chromosome, a single mutated gene causes the disorder. Females usually carriers. Females with one mutated X gene are typically carriers and usually do not show symptoms, or may have mild symptoms due to X inactivation. No male-to-male transmission. Affected fathers cannot pass the condition to their sons, as they contribute a Y chromosome to sons. Carrier mothers can pass it on. A carrier female has a 50% chance of having an affected son. 50% chance of having a carrier daughter. Affected males pass to all daughters. An affected male will pass the mutated gene to all daughters, who become carriers, but no sons. Can skip generations. Often appears to skip generations, especially when passed through carrier females. Examples of X-linked recessive disorders. hemophilia A and B, blood clotting disorders, excessive bleeding from minor injuries, Duchenne muscular dystrophy, DMD, progressive muscle weakness, affects boys early in life, Becker muscular dystrophy, milder than DMD with later onset, G6PD deficiency, leads to hemolytic anemia, especially after certain drugs or foods like fava beans, Lesch-Nyhan syndrome, neurological disorder with self-mutilation behaviors, affects only males, red-green color blindness, difficulty distinguishing red and green shades, much more common in males, Y-linked inheritance, halandric inheritance, gene on Y chromosome. The mutation is located on the Y chromosome, which is only present in males. Only males are affected. Females are never affected because they do not have a Y chromosome. Father-to-son transmission. Traits are passed directly from father to all sons. This is the only inheritance pattern with 100% male-to-male transmission. No skipping of generations. If the father has the trait, all sons will have it, if the gene is fully penetrant. Extremely rare. Few traits are known to be Y-linked due to the small number of genes on the Y. Chromosome. Often involves male sexual development. Most Y-linked genes are related to male sex determination. And spermatogenesis. Examples of Y-linked traits. Y chromosome infertility, caused by deletions in AZF, azoospermia factor, regions, leads to reduced or absent sperm production. Swyer syndrome in some forms. Rare disorder involving mutations in SRY gene, sex-determining region Y, leading to sex reversal in individuals with XY chromosomes. Hypertrichosis of the ear rim, hairy ears. Reported in some families as a Y-linked trait, though it's debated. Retinitis pigmentosa, very rare form. Some reports suggest Y-linked inheritance, but it's not the typical mode for this disorder. Please like, share, and subscribe to my YouTube channel, AnthroNet Academy, for more insightful content on anthropology. Stay safe and connected.